Hello, Humane Marketers. Sarah Znakrocha here. Welcome to another episode of the Humane Marketing Podcast, a place to be for the generation of marketers who cares. This is the show where we talk about marketing your business in a way that feels good to you, is aligned with your values, and also resonates more with your conscious customers because it's not pushy, ethical, and also beautiful. So if you're a regular here, you know that I'm organizing the conversations around the 7 Ps of humane marketing. And if you're new here and this is your first time, welcome. I'm so excited you're here. You may want to download your one-page marketing plan with the 7 Ps of humane marketing in the form of a mandala at humane.marketing/one page, the number one and page. So again, humane.marketing/one page. And with that, with no further ado, let's dive into today's conversation. Hi, Christine. Thanks so much for being on the Humane Marketing Podcast. I look forward to this conversation about happiness and bliss.
Yes, thank you. I'm very excited to share about it and hopefully make some people happy, at least smile.
At least we're definitely smiling. I just said offline, I spent most of my day in nature. We saw these little ducklings and, it's finally spring.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I'm definitely happy today. But let's start with you. I'm basically featuring this episode under the P of passion, which is the first P of the Humane Marketing Mandala. And so when you said that you're coming out with a book about happiness, I'm like, well, happiness, passion, it's all these good feelings that we want to have more of. So tell us, what you're passionate about. And then also, obviously, then we go into the whole definition of happiness and how do we get more happy as entrepreneurs.
Yes. Well, thank you first for having me. I'm very excited. I know we've done so many things together, and I know there will be so many more collaborations coming out of that. And I think you can't find a more passionate person about what they do. I know everyone is, but I really explode with passion when I talk about what I do, and I just love it. And always I say I'm an accidental entrepreneur because I never wanted my own business, but it just happened, and I absolutely love it. And I only basically work with people because I work with entrepreneurs that are really passionate about what they're doing, and that's lovely. That rubs off on me, and it really gives you energy, I think. When you work with people that are passionate. So what am I passionate about? Work. In this case, my own company. If we are looking from a business perspective, I'm really someone who loves getting things done and crossing things off the list. I really I'm that kind of, I'm really passionate about having lists. I used to, not anymore, have to-do lists for personal life. Okay, do the sports, go out for a walk, wash the dishes and stuff. Now I don't do that anymore, and I'm learning more and more to also sometimes do nothing, which is really difficult for me because I love to finish things. Also, that's not very strange, but I love to finish a shampoo bottle or to finish a product or something. I have to. That's why with me,
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like that's, oh, okay, we finished this, it's like, oh, we can move on to the next thing.
Yeah, and challenges work really well for me. If you give me a 30-day challenge, I will do all 30 days. But what I'm really passionate about is as well is making people smile. I think really people always say, oh, what's your purpose in life and stuff? And it sounds very cheesy now, but I love making people happy because it makes me really happy, and it's all interconnected, and there's lots of science behind it as well. However, that's what I'm passionate about, spreading some happiness in people's life.
Yeah. So let's talk about this happiness. What I was thinking about is like, how come, what makes some entrepreneurs, business people happier than others, and then how can we help those who are not currently happy in their business or in their life? But since we're on a business podcast, we can talk
Yes.
about business. Yeah, how can we help them to find back to being happy?
I think the very first thing, I mean, there's also official definitions of happiness and stuff. The very first thing is obviously to know and understand, which probably people do, that happiness means different things to different people. However, there's also science that shows what doesn't make happy. But we're going to focus, of course, also on the things that will make people happy, and also business owners. So I would say you would need to define first, what does happiness mean to you? What does success mean to you? Because therefore, for entrepreneurs are often interlinked. Let's say saying, okay, if I have success, that makes me happy, and that makes also the business sustainable. But what does that mean? It does not necessarily mean a lot of money. It might mean I help X amount of people with what I do, or I have an impact on society, on and the environment, whatever. A specific success definition, I think everyone as a business owner should have. Again, I appreciate that we all have to pay the bills, and that is a business. So it's thinking about the money, but not in the connection with happiness, really. So understanding what does happiness mean to you and in your business, and what does success mean to you? It's the very, very first thing.
Right.
And then if we go into a few really practical things and steps into what science has shown what really works, and what helps with happiness and increasing your happiness, is investing into experiences and instead of materialistic things. So because they create lasting memories and give you the sense of personal growth as well. And that overall can contribute to a deeper understanding, a satisfaction, and fulfillment. And basically, when you do that, you prioritize time over resources. You prioritize your time and resource in a way that really align with your values as well, and your personal interests. So in business or in personal life as well. And again, this can give you this sense of fulfillment, and feeds into the purpose that you might not have defined yet for yourself, because it's a very difficult question. What's your purpose in life?
Mm-hmm.
I just talked to someone else who said, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't think we have any purpose. And okay, that's okay. Everyone has their own view. But really, you can do that. And investing into experiences, you also invest in relationships with other people. You create memories together, and you also share that success with other ones. And in that case, you can share successes, for example, that you had or the company had with the team, with co-founders, with freelancers that you work with. If you outsource something, with suppliers, with clients, you can share this. If the client had a success, you should celebrate that.
Right.
Not because, oh, I'm so great, that was me, but really because you're happy for that person, and it will make you happy. So that would be the next
experiences. I really like that, because I just come back from an experience. So basically, we have a mastermind where we meet every month, and every month somebody else hosts the get together. And so today I hosted, and so I said, instead of staying at our place, let's go down to the forest, because I'm lucky enough to live next to a forest, next to a little water stream as well. And so it takes time, though, to take time out of our busy lives, right? And so only 5 out of the 10 people could make it. But those who made it, we just appreciated it so much. And then, like I said, we saw the ducklings. We created memories together, right? And yeah, we just felt really happy. Where had we stayed in our office and maybe made more money, or had another client, that it wouldn't have given us the same feeling of happiness, I'm sure. It's really those times where you step out of the normal kind of things that you feel these moments of awe and experience what you said. Another thing
and
that
also with others. I mean,
with others,
you can go
exactly.
by yourself and you have a great experiences, but if you
Right.
share this moment with
The
others,
shared
it again
moment.
has another
Yeah. So
impact.
another layer of happiness. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Another point you make in the book that contributes to happiness is about building habits. So talk to us about these habits. Why do habits, one could say, well, habits make it more boring. So how do habits make us more happy?
Yes, so building habits is another thing, like you just mentioned. I just want to mention three quickly other things as well, before we jump into the habits, maybe, because it's about the experiences that jumps back into that, is the savoring the moment, meaning that you really see and stay in that moment and see the positive side and aspects of things. And what you can do is you can share that with others. So if it's an experience that you had yourself, to have a bigger impact, you can share this with others as well via the phone, maybe a video, maybe a quick call, video call or something, that can help that you can physically jump up in the air and be happy about things and stuff like that. But anyway, just to combine that again with the experiences. So with the habits, because habits can enhance if you're talking about good habits. So, and these might have to be defined, but they enhance really your physical health, your mental health, your emotional resilience, and can really contribute to again to this greater sense of purpose and fulfillment. Now, creating habits, I'm going to talk about this in a second, but engaging in hobbies or activities that bring you joy, and there's a difference between joy and happiness. Officially, there's this definition: happiness is like the longer state and of something. The joy is the one that you have in that moment. But I would say find something that brings you joy outside of business. Also, of course, you should have joy in the business and what you're doing, but make sure you do find hobbies and groups that you go out with in nature and things that have nothing to do necessarily with your business. Because I think as entrepreneurs as well, we have difficulties to detach from work because it's always there and it's our baby and we're passionate about it, so that we don't see that we overwork ourselves sometimes. So take some stuff out of there as well and create habits around it. Have regular working hours is a habit that I think everyone should have. When you work for someone else, or if you work for yourself, have your own business, make sure you have working hours set and don't work after those hours. There might be exceptions, because maybe there's a podcast recording that you're doing with someone else after hours, or you speak at an event and it's not possible to do otherwise. But the norm should be that you have regular set hours. That's, I think, a good habit to have. To have an end of work routine is something that I never had. And after I worked with someone that was also a remote coach, basically, that was one of the first things she said. You should have a habit, a routine when finished working, because you can signal your brain, okay, that's it. That's the end of the work today, especially if you're working from home. Because, and you might be even in the same room and where you do other things, not have an extra office. So that's another great habit. Morning routines. I'm a massive fan of morning routines. You don't have to be extreme, but having some kind of routine to start your day, to wake up in a slower way. I get up very early. I have almost 2-hour morning routine, but where you involve different kind of senses, a bit of exercise. Doesn't have to be a massive exercise, can be also yoga, some breathing exercise. Maybe people like to do visualizations in the morning, maybe to write, whatever you feel what works for you, which gives you the time to wake up and to set up for the day. I think that would be a good habit to have. Healthy eating, which can be sometimes challenging if you are in this run of getting things done. Eating very fast, even if you eat healthy stuff, is also not recommended. And I'm still eating too fast. I'm done in 6 minutes with my whole lunch, which is not good. I take an hour because then I do a walk and things like that. But The actual eating part is too short, actually. But eating healthy, because it will give you energy, it will be good for your body, and it will really have a big impact on your health and well-being and your happiness as well.
What I hear is like there's a lot of habits that are actually more life related than they are business related. And those are the ones who are really established as solid foundation, right? Of course, then we could also be speaking about, create a habit to write every day, write blog posts like all of these other habits. But it sounds like the ones that really build the foundation and that make you happy are more life related habits.
Yes, because they impact you. The same with getting enough sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, you won't be able to focus enough during your day and get stuff done that you want to get done. So everything impacts your work as well. If you don't eat healthy, you probably don't have enough. If you don't drink enough water, if you're not eating healthy, you don't have enough energy to get through the day. You will have a down point as well. If you don't give yourself enough time to wake up in the morning with a morning routine, that will impact your day. Of course, these cutoff days and stuff that I mentioned are more work related, but yes, for sure.
I'm also a big fan of, I think it was Tim Ferriss, at least that's who I heard talk about it first, is kind of minimizing the decision fatigue. Like we're making so many decisions every day as entrepreneurs, right? So if you can just cut a few of these decisions and just have the habits, for example, I have oatmeal every morning, and that's just who I am now. It's basically who I am. It's like, I'm Sarah who eats oatmeal with turmeric every morning. And so then it just becomes part of you. I do yoga every morning. It becomes part of you. And so you don't have to decide, should I do yoga today or should I not? And so that, in a way, that it's not boring to me. It just makes me happy. I look forward to my oatmeal every day, right?
Yeah. So, and that's exactly the point of habits. And because it becomes a habit, it's effortless. You don't have to take a decision. It's just part of what you do. And it's also okay. And I'm someone who also struggles with that because I'm so achiever mindset, if you want to call it, and crossing off things to this. But it's also okay to be flexible. If you stayed up longer, wake up later to get enough sleep, and don't compromise on that part just to get your habit in. So I think this flexibility around habit building, so they become part and become easy, and you don't have to take the decision to do something. However, if for whatever reason you can't do it at one day, that's also okay. And I think
you have to be gentle with yourself and say, okay, fine, today I don't do that habit.
Exactly. And just a couple of tips there, maybe, and people have heard that before, probably, on how to actually build habits and how to create habit and to make it effortless. And there's lots of science behind it. How long does it take? Some people say 21 days, some people say 30 something, some 70 something. I think depends on the person, depends on the habit. Getting rid of habit is even more difficult than creating healthy habits. But starting small is, of course, really the biggest thing. If you say, I want to meditate every day 1 hour, you won't if you've never meditated before. If you say, I'm going to take a mindful breath every day before I get out of bed, I can do that. That's the smallest thing you can do. Take one mindful breath. That's like a meditation. Or I do a 5-minute guided meditation from YouTube, or stretching or something. That probably you can do. Accountability can be something that can help. So find someone that you share this, again, shared experiences, share maybe the habit with, or some people like to use tracking apps. Strangely enough, I don't, but I know there's a lot of habit tracking apps and stuff. For some people that works. Again, tracking the progress. If you do yoga, like you mentioned, for example, if you see you get more flexible, and it's better, and you have probably less back pain because we probably sit a lot in front of the computer, a lot of Zoom meetings, things like that. A good habit to have is also taking screen breaks, for example. not to be in front of the screen for 8 hours a day, taking the breaks, make sure your eyes can relax, celebrating when you've done one of the habits. Okay, you created something. So if you want to do yoga, if you take a breath, whatever it is, then in the end, that habit is, you celebrate that you did that. And that doesn't mean you have to then go out and drink something, or you go on a holiday every time you do a habit, but it can be just like a, well done, Christine, a pat on the shoulder. Maybe you want to hug yourself. Maybe you look in the mirror and say, yes, I did that. Thank you. Good. That was good. That's like a little celebration to signal your brain that little success moment as well. Yeah, feeling more accomplished. And a final thing is finding the situations and the support and the surroundings that help you to implement those healthy habits. So if you want to establish something and your life and the people around you is just not set up for that, then think about it. And doing it consistently will help you to do that. And I think the last thing they always say is make sure you attach it to something that you already do. So someone said to me, oh, if you want to do 5 sit-ups in the morning, if we talk about physical exercise, and you attach that to when you stopped brushing your teeth, then you will do it more likely than trying to do it outside of something that you already do. You want to drink more water.
That's why some people have their running shoes already out when they go to bed, right next to the bed. Yeah.
Also, yes. Yeah. So yeah, this would be like some
good tips.
Things.
Thank you. Yeah. There's another thing I really want to make sure we have time to talk about, which is goals. Because in a way, it kind of probably ties into our definition of success, because we, as entrepreneurs, we set ourselves sometimes quite aggressive goals, right? And then we're not happy or we're sad if we're not achieving them. And so you talk about this idea of making sure that we set achievable goals. So talk to us about that and how that makes us happier.
Yes, well, because if we feel, first of all, if we're achieving goals, and then we talk about how I usually set goals as well, then it gives us this sense of fulfillment that we achieved something. We should always celebrate we achieved a goal. So it gives us a sense of moving forward. I think if you do not set goals, it can be very demotivating in business. And I always say, if you don't set yourself a goal, how do you know you achieved something? If you never wanted to achieve something, because a goal is nothing else than, okay, I want to get something done. Goal setting is a harsh thing, and I know we all do it and stuff, and we're in business. However, I think getting to a specific point where you want to be is already setting yourself a goal. And we all want to be somewhere. We all want to have a specific impact. We all want to have a certain amount of money to support a lifestyle that we want. We all want to work with X amount of people, because then we know, again, we have that impact in that kind of way. So that really can support making us happy. But one thing is extremely important. Goals might change. Goals are not written in stone, like they say. It's your goal. Well, I always say you have 3 questions. Is it your goal? Yes or no? Is it maybe put onto you by someone else? Especially when you work in a company and you're a business owner, then you often get goals set by other people. Does the goal excite you? And if any of the answers to these questions is no, revisit the goal, because you will get demotivated. And then there's obviously a lot of acronyms and formulas and stuff that you can use to set goals. And one of the most used ones is SMART. I actually don't like that too much, even though it does work, but I just don't like it too much because it's always used in corporate situations and stuff like that. So I use actually a different one, which is called Achieve, which already has a great word in it.
Yeah,
so the acronym
like that
is
much
Achieve.
better.
Yes. So it's basically stating your goal as if it already happened. So not I want this, but I have a successful business. Let's start with that, instead of saying, oh, I don't want to be in a full-time job. Then we have the C, which is clear and specific. So you need to know what that means. What does a successful business mean to you? Where is it? With whom is it? How many clients do you have? The turnover, because you will have to think about the money side as well. And then be very clear and specific on that. And then the H is actually the hittable, which is achievable. Is this actually realistic? Too often I hear people that, oh, I'm going to have this company that will have 2 million turnover at the end of year 2. This is not realistic, probably. Depends on the company. The I in achieve is in a positive direction. So state what you want rather than what you don't want. Also has a bit to do with how the brain works, because the brain does not understand negatives. And if you give it what you already want, then there's a lot of research done that you will actually be more likely to achieve that. E, so achieve, is exciting. So it should be exciting for you. If it doesn't excite you, I would not recommend
You're not gonna, you're not gonna go for it.
Yeah. And then the V is actually value-based. And I think that's really important because it should align with your values. You need to be clear on your values, what's important to you, what don't you want, what do you want in life, and it needs to align with that. And then we have the last E, which is ecological. And basically what that means is who and what is affected by you achieving that goal. Because maybe you say, I want to have this company and I want to run it in New Zealand. If you have a family, for example, or also friends or a husband or children, they will be affected by you moving to New Zealand. So you should check if they're okay with you achieving that goal. You might have less time for anyone because all of a sudden you have to work more. And you check if they're okay with that. And if they are not okay with that, are you okay with them not being okay with that? If that makes sense, because it's your goal, it's your life, but
you're part of a bigger ecosystem. And
exactly.
So you check in with them.
Yeah.
I like that achieve much better than the smart. It's somehow outdated, and
it's
maybe it's also because
overused.
It's like from the corporate days, so we're like, nah, we're gonna
exactly.
I love that. Yeah. We both have communities, and so I'm just wondering also what happiness and community, where they overlap, what they have in common. You want to talk about your community, and then we can also talk about the circle a little bit.
Yeah. So in general, I would say, just to answer the question, what do communities have to do with happiness? It's actually scientifically proven as well that social connection, doing things with others, is extremely important for happiness, and it's crucial for your overall well-being and happiness. And I talk in my book about that as well a lot. And they actually found that if you are connected in a community, so that's even in a church or in our cases,
right,
professional
real life communities, or online
really
communities.
They've shown, the studies have shown that you're less likely to experience premature death and have more chances to survive fatal illnesses, because it is a bit strange, but it's really
it makes total sense to me.
Yeah, I think so, because it will also build up for more resilience, and you will have a support system when you're going through difficult times. You will less likely feel loneliness and isolation, have this sense of belonging, and you can discover your purpose there as well. And usually you are part of a community that you have shared values with. And this is where our communities, and especially also yours, come in. And we just feel part of something, and we can create new experiences together. So that's based again of the shared experiences. So having social connections and groups and communities that you belong to really play a massive role in health, physical health, really, but also in the mental health and well-being. And my community is for entrepreneurs in the first 3 years, to support them with all kind of things, support in resources, in life support, and with a community. And yours obviously is a fantastic community of professional people, but that are not, because sometimes when people hear the word professional, they're a bit put off because they think it's like that kind of person that just thinks about numbers and about how many followers do I have, and how much money do I make and stuff like that. It's not that. You can, in my point of view, and also I know everyone in your community, you can be professional, meaning reliable, exchange knowledge, so you're knowledgeable as well in what you're doing. And I think your community is amazing for that, because I've met so many amazing people, started already collaborating with them. And I remember the very first session that I attended live, I had so much that I took out of that I then implemented into my business, which really works as well. And the focus is obviously all on humane and gentle marketing techniques as well. And it's really lovely. And it does give me that sense of, I found a tribe that I belong to. Because I can feel that we have shared values, we create these experiences. It's very relaxed and but still professional, like I say. And
I
you
love
get a
that
lot
you
out of that.
highlight that, right? It's this idea, well, I guess we do speak a lot about being human, right? Marketing like we're human. And so that's really what I've wanted to create, is a place where we can be human and yet still be professionals, or talk
Yes.
about marketing and business. And I think that's what also creates the happiness, because we are all being our authentic selves. I think that's what you also meant by the community, where you feel
Yes.
like you can be yourself, right?
Yes. And you can feel that passion that everyone
Yeah.
has. So coming back to the passion that
Yeah.
everyone has for their business. And again, if you talk to people that are passionate about something, this will rub off on you, because it's positive energy, and it will really gives you energy. Because I know it can be sometimes difficult to attend a meeting after hours.
Right.
But every time I attend, for example, one of yours, which will be for my time, for example, at 5 o'clock, sometimes once a month, or twice a month, then I do think, oh yeah, I had a long day. But I do know after this meeting, I will be energized, actually.
Right.
I will be energized because of the
It's the
people in there.
experience again. It's how we started, right? It's
Yeah.
more of an experience rather than just like, oh, let me listen to another meeting, or
Yes. Yes.
because it's not that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just, because you started talking about other communities, church, or faith-based or whatever, it's almost like, at least in Europe, that's kind of diminished, right? We don't have, or a lot of us are not really in faith-based communities anymore. And I remember talking with my husband about it, and it's like, we're not craving the church, but we are thinking, at least his parents, they were very involved in church. And he's like, yeah, we had a place to be on Sunday. And we did things together and stuff like that. And it's true that it's almost like we need to replace that now.
And there is actually someone who is doing that across the world, also very successfully. They're called Sunday Assembly, and they're on purpose, not religious based. So, he's actually saying, I don't believe in any gods or anything, but he believes in community. And he creating those places where people go every Sunday and have fun together. So I went to a lot of these when I was in the UK, because the guy who founded it, who's also was hosting some of my events that I was doing across Europe, actually, because he's a comedian. They're really amazing events, because people go there, you meet the same, and they're like a franchise. So people, they pop up everywhere, also around the world, also in the US and stuff. And people go and you sing along to a karaoke song of Queen. Then there's someone who's there's always a theme of the day. Someone who has written a poem about that theme. Then there's someone who gives a talk about something. And then so I actually also did a talk there about community building because of another project I was working on. And then people stay together and they go together in the pub and stuff like that. And that is really exactly what you mean.
Yeah. 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 It's so needed. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so.
I'm happy that you are creating your community for your people, and yeah, I think there needs to be more opportunities for people to
Yeah.
commune, to get together.
Yes, and also to get together
Yeah,
in person. I mean, we've
exactly.
never met in person. Hopefully, we will next year around this time,
Of course.
because I know you're organizing something, but everything is online and
Yeah.
everything. It can be very difficult as well to activate a community and to get together and to have this community feeling, even though you're on the screen. For
Right.
Zoom fatigue, this new word that came out, this new
Yeah.
illness that all of a sudden happened. But yeah, I think.
Yeah. Well, obviously, everything we talked about here is kind of, well, not everything, but a lot of what we talked about here came from your book. So
Yes.
please do tell us, and for those of us who are watching on YouTube, you can hold it up because you just got it today.
Oh, yes, wait, I have it here. It's the first printed copy, The
Yay!
Happiness Formula.
Thank you.
You can get it on Amazon, basically on all Amazons, but there is creativestartupacademy.com/books where you can find that in case you would be interested. However, we are also for you, for the sense of this podcast, I would like to offer the Kindle book, at least the English version in this case, for free. So
Ooh, thank you.
yeah.
So
So when this one is aired, which is on the 2nd of
yeah,
June, I think,
yeah.
which is the Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this book will be available, The Happiness Formula, for free on Kindle.
Wow, amazing. So I'll make sure I use the right link where we can download that and read about the habits and the goals. And there's so much else we had prepared, but didn't have time to talk about. So
Yes.
just gonna have to read the book. Wonderful. Well,
Yes.
do tell us where people can find you, your website again, where you most often hang out on social media and all of that.
I think LinkedIn would be one of the preferred ways to get in contact with me. But you find everything on my website, also the LinkedIn link on the bottom in the footer to my profile. So if you go to creativestartupacademy.com, there you find everything, the book and also my LinkedIn link.
The books, because you've written like 20 books, right?
Yeah, this is the 20th. Yes. I got a
Amazing.
bit obsessed.
Make sure you celebrate because you tell
Yes.
everybody else to do it. So make sure.
Yes, I already celebrated when I unpacked earlier,
Yay.
and actually was running around and dancing and put a song on. And also my boyfriend was dancing with me, but we will celebrate more this weekend. Yes.
Nice. I always have one last question on my podcast, and it's
Mhm.
actually also another thing we skipped, which is gratitude.
Mhm.
So what are you grateful for today or
Um,
this week?
uh, Apart from being grateful to have this opportunity to spread more joy and happiness in people's life, I think one there's two big things I'm very grateful for. First, I found love.
Mhm.
Finding the person that you want to stay with for hopefully for the rest of your life, that will be hopefully long and healthy.
Mm.
That's one massive thing I'm massively grateful for, and that's always going in my gratitude journal every day. And the other thing is really to have these new opportunities, meeting so many lovely people. So there's so much support out there emotionally and with business advice, practically, and everything. And I'm really, really grateful for that people are so openly sharing and supporting.
A
That's
nice,
what I'm
nice two things
grateful
to be
for.
grateful for. Yeah,
Yes.
wonderful. I'm grateful for this conversation. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching and being part of a generation of marketers who cares for yourself, for your clients, and for the planet. We really are change makers before we are marketers. So go ahead, be the change you want to see in the world. And I hope to see you again next week. Take care.